All right, we're in Monday's qualifying round of the Escape to the Sun tournament. Let's just go check it out. I'm gonna glance at the holes. I have some basic notes. I'm trying to get out into this area, and I'm going for it if the wind is blowing right. So let's see which way the wind's blowing. Let's see which way it's blowing. If I do, I'll take that bag and a Zerk. Now, what I found out yesterday was I don't need to put all the topspin on it. That's what I found out yesterday. I overshot the green, actually. All right, which way is our wind blowing today? Entry fee. Let's get in it. Hole number 1. That wind is not helping or hurting us. We'll see. I got to hit it perfect to get it through that gap. I may be able to catch a one ring on one side or the other and still get through it. It's pretty narrow down at the end. All right. Okay, and I'm going to do 1.5 less than max topspin. See where my white ring is over there? The transition between the white and the clear ring, I'm right on the transition of the fairway right there. It's 1.5 per rings. I'm going to do a little over. And I hit it 2 rings great to the left, which is very problematic at the end right here. It'll end up in the sand. A 1 ring great to the left, that bounce where it got into the rough, there's a good chance it would have hit the fairway right up there and then bounced over and either cleared that rough or clipped it and bled me right out in front. Perfect should go right down the middle. And a 1 ring great to the right, you might be able to squeak through. And a 2 ring great to the right, you're in the sand. It's pretty narrow down there, but there is a little window. So I set myself up 4 rings off of that transitional surface, which put me way to the left. But with max curl, it's a pure setup shot. It's so much easier to repeat a shot when you're doing max curl as opposed to when you're trying to do a partial, especially on a shot like that where you got a lot of stuff going on. All right, this is going to boil down to hitting it perfect. No, and that was definitely not perfect. That was like 700 rings great to the right. It was 2, but it felt like 700. Yesterday, I went out and practiced, and I don't think I hit a single shot from the rough or the sand perfect. And I was in the rough and the sand quite a bit yesterday. I was testing out to see like where you could recover. I was trying to get that out of my system. I didn't mess up on any of the par 3s. I didn't get in trouble, but definitely, I definitely had some holes that I needed to work on, and I was working on holes. There's some of these. This is a course more than maybe any other course in the game that I have had really good luck, and I've had days where I wasn't on. Because there's so many holes here. I've done max overpower hook shots since these holes came out, or some big shot trying to put it in like the prime area I've had some really good tournaments with these whole, and I've had some not so spectacular ones. All right, picking up a chest. Hole number 2. What is hole number 2? Hole number 2. Da-da-da-da. All right. I'm gonna try 1 per ring and 10%. And it seems like I tried the 10%. I'm not sure exactly how I'm playing this hole yet. I'm just going to go out there and play it, and I'm going to keep working that shot. I do know that I'm going to take a low power ball so that I'm taking my grizzly or my sniper at it. Now I tried yesterday bringing out a Titan so that I could go at it with my grizzly, but I didn't like where I had to start. So I'm just going to take, I better take a Quasar. I think I can get away with a Navigator. Maybe. Here we go. Hole number 2. If I can get an opponent. Wow, I got an opponent pretty fast. Look at that. I'm gonna pull up my trusty dusty calculator here. So I'm gonna start off with a 10% at max, and I think I'm at minimum club, so it should be 1.3 per ring, but I'm gonna pull at 1 per ring instead. So that's a 30% adjustment right there. So I'm gonna do 10% off of max. I'm gonna try and work this hole so that even though I'm at minimum club, I'm working 1 per ring. That's the deal. I have had a couple hole-in-ones on this, but this is not one of my memorable par 3s. 3.9. Hey, 4.29 rings. Okay, over here I can see it a little. Okay, it's 4.29 rings. There's 4.3. Hitting it perfect. Had to snap it off because I had 0 time left on the clock. Close! And I didn't quite pull it enough. So I'm going to try a 20 and see if I can end up on the other side. So I tried a 10. I tried doing it at minimum club and was way off. I tried doing minimum club and was off of it. So I'm going to keep working that number and see how close I can get. I'd like to get that much closer right there. Birdie. All right, we got the first of our par 5s, and I think we have pretty decent shots on all of the par 5s as far as getting Albie. So let's see what the first par 5 has in store for us. All right, this is definitely about our drive. And I am going to hit this with a Titan, the king of balls, and I'm running this Apocalypse out. I just got this Apocalypse 6, and so I'm going to take it out in this tournament and try and use it on as many holes as I can. And this hole is, you could use your Extra Mile or your Big Dog on this as well. You can use any of your drivers. I've used a rock on this for a long, long time. And yesterday I was so far up in the hole that I was actually in my Grizzly. And if you play with a rock or a quarterback, you got a really nice shot down there, and you got a super nice sniper shot coming into the cup. But if you get farther out there, you can get into your long iron range. And there's a rough bump. I'm trying to get into the range where I can do the rough bump. There's actually a real rough bump, but there's also an area that's so damn steep that you can simulate a rough bump. And that wind is not helping us. The deal with the Apocalypse, I got to get used to the curl on it. From years and years of playing with the Extra Mile, you just kind of know what it can do. And I've played occasionally. There's some drive shots that are easier to set up with an Apocalypse. But just like day to day going out there playing with it, I haven't really spent a lot of time in grade playing with my Apocalypse. My opponent might be in a spot of bother. Yeah, they might be all right, maybe. Okay, it's at 2.1 per ring, so 2 rings would be 4.2. I'm going to move it back to the red line, however far that is. And a little bit farther, obviously, so I'm about a ring into power. And I need to put some curl on it to bring it back to the fairway. Hitting it perfect. As long as I don't overhit it. I was at 375 yesterday, so 375, 380 in that range. And I'm doing plus 10 to the cup. So 1.1 times whatever the wind is divided by, I should be at max Grizzly, so it should be 1 per ring. And or minimum sniper at 1.3. And I'm in my sniper. There's min sniper. There's max. It's about 1.1. So 2.7 equals divided by 1.1. Oh, got it great to the right. Damn it. Damn it, Jim. In the hole if it was perfect. I got my freaking calculator. I'm pressing on it with my stylus and it's not reading the number. Mid club should be 1-1, and I did a 10%, so it should have just been a straight up number, and that's what I did. Straight up number. All right, right, making some notes. 1.1 per ring at 10%, so it's just a regular number, just a regular pool. In the hold. Locking in the minimum score and trying to find the best spot to put myself, to give myself the best opportunity to pick up that next shot. All right, hole number 4. What we got here? I think we're getting to the... All right, this par 3, I've got to get this down. Now, I know we were adding on, and I didn't hit it perfect into the cup yesterday. So I'm going to add on, I'm just going to do 1 per ring with 10%. I'm going to take a Grizzly and a Navigator. And it should be 4 backspin, no side spin. Let's see if we can win a chest every hole. All right. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Find an opponent. Let's go. Hole number 4. Of the par 3s that are in this game, this might be there's no give me shots in the game. There are some par 4s that, like, you getting the eagle is, you have to, they are gimmies. It's easy to get on. You got to get it. But par 3s, there are no gimmies, but this par 3 right here is one that we can definitely get dialed in. I'll be very upset if I go the whole tournament without hitting a hole-in-one on this hole. And in the weekend round, this is a hole that you can pick up on both sides, and this will really propel your round. I'm not a fan of hitting from the top of those hills, though. Let's see if my opponent can get it to stop. Takes too many weird bounces when you hit on that side of the hill. It's better to hit on this. Number 1, you take all the traps out of play. You take the sand completely out of play when you hit in the front. Okay, 10%. It's 3-3. There's 3, 3. Getting it perfect. Get in the hole. In the hole. All right. That was 10% at max club. Four backspin. No side spin. All right. Winning another hold. Did I fill up all my chest slots? I did. I'm going to have to open one of those up. Got a bunch more to win. And I do have a club card trading I can do today too. Let's see. I'm a million miles away from every club that I'm working on. So maybe we'll get one so I can add to the tally. I'm not working on the Sahara or the Firefly. Dump it into the razor. All right. Where were we at? We're on hole number 5. Hole number 5. What the hell is hole number 5? All right. All right. Now let me think for just 1 second here. So I found a spot yesterday over in this zone to try and get over. But what I'm curious about is whether or not my APOC has enough topspin to make the bounce from here to here. So I went back and watched the video, And the first time through, I ended up in the same, I can't remember if I made it over, but I was down here in the bottom and I recovered. Then I played it again and I ended up in the drink. So I'd moved it around so that I could hit into the fairway, and I hit on the other side of the fairway and skipped and went right into the drink. So then I had set the range. So I moved it out just a little bit, and I did have a little bit of room here so that if I could cut the distance from where my first bounce was here, I think it would have made up the distance that I lacked on the other side, and I could have got some run forward. But we'll have to see which way the wind's blowing today. So I used an APOC and a Kingmaker. A Kingmaker. Da-da-da-da. Let's buy some Kingmakers just so we have them. I'm taking my APOC. Let's see which way the wind is blowing. All right, that one's not hurting or helping us. That's actually the wind yesterday that I was playing in. So we'll see if I can work it out today. So I think it's from the transition between the first and the second cut of the rough. I want to have just a little teeny bit of my white ring hanging out into the first cut. And the rest of my white ring in the second cut. Take the wind out. Max topspin. Any left-hand side spin I can get on. Max curl, max hook, max OP, max. All right. Let's get down here where we can see the cuts. Okay, you can see the cut. Come into it just a little. Let's put some spin on the ball. 2.7. 1.5 per ring, so I'm going to move it 2 rings. And I got all of it. Now let's see if I can clip the fairway or if I moved it out too far. There we go. Perfect. Boy, I had very little room. Very little room. I'll have to go back and watch that. I might have moved it out. I moved it out that little bit on my white ring, but that might have been just right there, but any more and it would have been in big trouble. What I would have done is the bounce would have been so flat that it would have just bounced over to the other side and probably got me caught in the rough. Now, if they're trying to hit it over there, why aren't they using any curl? Because it seems to me that if they get over to the other side, they're going to, I mean, like, if they would have landed on the fairway there and got the bounce, they would have just went into the trees without any curl. Like, what was the shot there? Kingfisher. What hole are we on? 10% to the cup. There's Max. There's Min. Min Kingfisher. Min Kingfisher plus 10%. So it's 3. It's 2-2. It's about a ring and a half. Oh, and I hit it one ring great to the left. Worst side to hit it on. And if I would have hit it perfect, I think I would have missed on the other side of the cup by exactly the same distance. I overpulled it just slightly. Let me pull out my calculator here, which I have no idea why I wasn't using. 3 divided by 2.2 equals 1.36 rings. And I moved it 1.5. My opponent's having a rough time of it. In the hole. Birdie. I'll have to come through on my practice account. I may qualify today. I'm just going to go through, like, before I get to the end here, I think you won't have to shoot a very high score, so like there'll become a point where you have to commit to qualifying. But I want to go out maybe tomorrow and Wednesday and practice with my practice account. I may tank a few holes, some of these par 3s, miss some putts. My opponent did not recover. Won another chest. Look at that. I am winning a chest on every one. I'm going to go open another one. Jeez, guys. Am I just kicking your ass today or what? Here we go. Opening it up. What hole are we on? We're on hole number 6. Hole number 6. What do I got here? I got extra mile Titan sniper. I have no other numbers. I have no wind percentages, elevation. I got none of that crap. What is hole number 6? I got nothing. I think I'm just going to hit it straight up to the cup if I can get to the right spot. Yesterday, I had an epic fail where I ended up in the rough right here, and I was able to recover. And I didn't have to do the max overpower hook, but I did have to do a max overpower shot and was able to get back up in here and recover from it. But I would rather, and I came back and played it again, and I was in the right spot so that I could do the rough bump off of this with a sniper. So it can be done. All right. Hole number, what are we on? Hole number 6? Hole number 6. I'm going to take once again, my APOC bag, and I'm going to take a Kingmaker again, just because to get down the fairway right. I don't think I'll need it on the shot to the cup, but I could. See which way the wind's blowing. I suppose I could have looked, but I didn't. Damn rookies. That's why I play rookie. If I had a caddy, see, when you're a rookie, you don't have a caddy. You have to do all this shit on your own. When you're a pro, you get a caddy. Or when you go to resorts. It's always nice to have a caddy. If you ever go to a golf course that has caddies, you want to get one. Those folks know everything about the holes. This is definitely a hole you want to hit perfect on. And I have no problem with the Katana. I have no problem. In one-on-one, you play these holes with a freaking Marlin. But when you're playing tournaments and every shot counts, if anything goes wrong, your fault, my fault, nobody's fault. You'll wish that you had... And the power 3 ball may not get you out of every spot. But if you get in trouble, you wish you had a bigger ball. In one-on-one, you just lose a few coins. But here... can really cost you. $2.5. It's 1.5 per ring. That should be about a ring and 2/3. I'm going to slightly over pull it. Just try and hit it straight forward. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to ride down the fairway as far as I can get. Nothing special, no OP, no nothing. My opponent's got the nice little tee shot, and the deal is that if they would have brought a Titan here, and it's even going to be tough for me with the 4-1 headwind, I'm not sure that I have enough room. I did get a little bit more distance than my opponent, and I have a power 3 ball. So it's going to be really close. I may have to do exactly what my opponent's doing. If I remember correctly on this hole, if you're doing this, it will run out faster than it looks. So I believe that they were a little short of the cup right there, but not real short. Clip the rough. I think in this headwind, if I do that rough bump, I'm definitely going to add on. And I have room. I'm going to add on like 10%. So I'm going to do a 3-3. There's 3, 2.5, 3-3. Hitting it perfect. Getting a hole. Just a bit outside. I didn't quite pull it enough. And I did a 10%. I was going to hit it straight up at it. But with that headwind, it looked like it laid my opponent's shot back. I didn't watch how they made their wind adjustment. But them clipping the rough, I decided I would play it safe and do a little. I probably should have did a little more. I'll have to go back and watch it, see where it landed, where I had it set up. It's really important when you're doing the rough bumps, like going back, and you can get a lot of good read from your rough bump, like based off where you set it up and where it landed in the rough, to see if it pushed you back. I usually try and pick a spot that's like 1 ring, 2 rings off, where you're 1 ring or 2 rings into the rough, so that when you watch that bounce, you can kind of get an idea. You don't get as good a read when you've got pure side wind, but when you have headwind and tailwind, you can get a pretty good idea if you've pulled it enough or pulled it too much. Hole number 7. Hole number 7. What we got here? All right. Once again, I'm trying to get way in the hell over here, and I don't need to put on all the topspin. I put on max topspin yesterday, and I ended up in the sand over here. So I could get into this area where I've got a shot. That's my goal. I want to get into my wedge range. So I'm going to take... Now, I think yesterday, I didn't write down any notes on this, but I think in order to get up there yesterday, I had to bring a Zerk. I think these balls are 0 wind. 5 side spin. Man, that might work. That might work. Just because you're so close that on the second shot, wind is... I'm reluctant to use 0 power balls like this. Snow globes are... I love snow globes, but there are certain holes that, like, they shine. But anytime you have a second shot, especially when you're up close and you're making those where you have no wind, it can be problematic. It got you to where you wanted to get, but then, like, now you're missing a tool. Cutting the wind down. It's always helpful. All right. I'm still working on this shot. I'm going to do 2 less than max topspin, though, and see where it ends up. I'm not sure, depending on the wind, whether or not I can even get out there. Without wind, we can. Faux show, because at that angle, it's almost due tailwind. The opponent's got a power 2 ball. Even in one-on-one, I can't stand playing to the right-hand side here. I mean, you have tons of options when you play to the right. You can bounce off that little island over the sand. You can do the rough bump. You can backspin it. You got all kinds of options. It seems to me, though, playing over there, that like you do have a serious wind adjustment to make, and that it's affected. The adjustment you make with headwind and tailwind are a little different. So you got to chase the wind around a little bit. But you do have a nice look at it from that side. All right, I can't get out. Do 2 less than max. Okay, 4-9. Well, that is way out there. All right. I'll probably end up in the sand. And with that 2-ring great to the right, I'm definitely going to end up in the sand. Right there. I would have liked to have seen what that angle looked like with that wind angle if it was on a perfect, because I think it might have gone too far. Even with taking off a little bit of topspin, I would have been too far off in the rough or the sand over here. My trajectory was leading me off in that direction. It's hard to tell. Okay, let's see. Let's see how my opponent does here. Now, I'm automatically not interested in their shot because they have to add curl on it. Either because of the ball or, you know, I mean, they put on that curl and that's where they ended up. Did they really need that curl? Or was that curl, it's hard to replicate anything that you can do with that. All right, all right. Let's see if we can get this in the hole. I don't like that at all. From this distance. Oh, and hit 1 ring great to the left. Which is okay, I guess. I've been hitting everything 1 ring great to the right. What would it be like if I could hit it perfect every time? Like, wow, what would that be like? I've won tournaments where I hit damn near everything perfect, and I've won tournaments where I went out there and I only hit like 5 shots perfect all day, but those 5 shots I sank, and I picked up 5. I think we played in some tournament where it's one of the really hard courses where literally if you pick up 2 or 3 shots, you're in a winning score. And I think I only shot just a hand. I think I hit 1 great and it went in, and then I hit 2 perfects and I got them to go in, and everything else was crap. Hole number 8. All right. Did not get to the spot that I wanted. I'm still trying to see. I really want to see if I can get into this area, because from here I can run my rapier. I'm going to be in my wedge range even if I'm in max wedge, but I'm trying to get out into this area. I've been out in this area, but I'm trying to get on the inside of that. And I think that there is a path, if you can catch it right. There is a path where you can literally end up like right here, right off the green. That is my real goal there. I'm going to keep working it. All right, this hole, I'm going to do 1 per ring plus 15%. And I'm going to bring a nav. One per ring plus 15%. Get my calculator. calculator rolling. 1.15 times whatever the wind is. I go first. The wind is 2.7. It's 3.1 rings. Ring and a half. Hey, get over here where I can see you. Get over here where I can see you. .1 rings. There's 3. And I'm going to have to snap it. Hitting it perfect. And did not pull it enough. I pulled at 30 yesterday, which is what I normally pull on this hole. And it seemed like I over pulled it. So I wanted to cut it in half and see where that put me. And I definitely under pulled it today. So we'll split the difference. 22.5. Here we go. See if my opponent can get in. See what kind of adjustment they make. They're using a katana, so their red line is... It's not really making a big difference here. Maybe closer to minimum club, though. And that was whatever kind of funky little eyeball wind adjustment. That grate to the right might have helped them. And it did. They would have been even further off. I am still baffled that there are so many people you see play this game that eyeball it, and I'm like, when I first started playing the game, there was Tommy and Zachary Jones, and that was it. And Tommy didn't use the win ring method. So if you wanted to use the win ring method and you wanted to get information on it, you had to watch Zach. But it's been out for a long time, and there's a ton of information out there now. Tons. You're never really going to... You could get to Tour 7, Tour 8, maybe even Tour 9. It's really the buck is going to stop when you get to Tour 9. But you have to... You may be able to eyeball it, but when you start getting up there, there's going to be too many players. They're going to hit too precise too often because they're making great wind adjustments, and you're not going to be able to keep up with the Joneses unless you learn how to use the win ring method. And if you're new to the game, you need to learn how to do it now. So the sooner you can learn, the better, because getting used to how you adjust the ball and spinning the screen around and lining it up, you want to do that in the lower tours because there is a learning curve. Okay, I'm going to take my rock. Here we go. All right, this is one shot at a time. I get on this hole in one-on-one, and it is a eagle hole at best. You know, like 90 times out of 100, I probably hit an eagle on it. And the other times I hit a birdie going from the left-hand side. But this shot from over here, if you screw this drive up, you are toast. And there ain't no doubt about it. I screwed the drive up yesterday. Put curl on it and I didn't need to. Okay, 3-3. I'm going to do 3-5. No curl. I did lean that direction. I leaned to the left. I'm just trying to get up there by the shadow. I would like to be a little teeny bit closer. The problem is if I run the extra topspin to get me up there, if you hit anything great to the left, you're sunk. You're going to end up in the rough. But if I put the topspin that I did put on there and I hit it great to the left, I may just miss getting into the rough. And an extra mile, even like a mid-level APOC, where they work on this hole. The deal is that you've got a very narrow little area, and they've set this up. It's hard to recover if you don't hit it perfect. You can end up in a spot of bother, and you're done out here if you end up in trouble. Now, they're a little short, but they can recover from that. Why wouldn't you bring out a 100% accurate club when you're taking that shot? Okay, I'm going to add on 10%. So it's 3-3. I'm definitely at max club. There's 3, 2.5. There's 3-3. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get that in the cup. It's got a good roll. Got a good roll. Woo! In the hole. Albie. All right. I think I picked up a couple. That wasn't a bad round. I think I only picked up the two, the hole-in-one and the Albie. I don't think I picked up any of the par fours, unfortunately. I think the par fours in this particular one are all ones. Hole number one, we have that opportunity to get on. It is low-hanging fruit. And the other two, I think the last par four, we also have an opportunity to get right out there in front. But that mid par four is, you still have, it doesn't matter how close you get with your drive, you still have some work to get done. So you can take a lot of risks on the drive like I'm doing to try and get into a shorter club. Or you can be consistent and let yourself just go straight out on that hole and take your wood instead of trying to get into your long iron range. All right, minus 14. So I did pick up 2. Minimum score is minus 12. So the whole goal is to try and get the minimum score with your eyes closed. But at the same time, on every single hole, put yourself in the perfect position to pick up a shot. And if you do that for 18 holes, you know, the averages are that, you know, you may go a tournament where you didn't pick up any. And then you may go a tournament where you were on fire and you picked up 6. And so, but getting that consistency of just minimum score and focusing on that, then you'd be amazed at how much those other shots, you start picking them up and the numbers start to add up really quick. All right. I have no idea yet. Like this really feels like it's a course that you're going to have to shoot a 14 or a 15 on a side. There's a lot of opportunities to pick up shots here. So I wouldn't be surprised with 30 pluses in the weekend just to get into the banner hunt. That was the qualifying round of the Escape to the Sun tournament. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week and stay safe.